co-lead with Runway Style Media, and today we're at Neiman Marcus. We're going to be doing a great designer spotlight interview on one of the great jewelry designers up and coming, Borgo. So stay tuned with Runway Style Media as we bring you our designer spotlight from Neiman Marcus. This is what we do. We love meeting new designers. I read some of your bio and I'm just really excited. I'm so
amazing. I'm gonna have to interview you too. I need to hear all about you.
So now, tell our people, for Runway Style followers, where you're originally from.
Yes. I grew up and down the East Coast of the United States. Part of my childhood in Atlanta.
Right.
Outside of Atlanta in a place called Dunwoody.
Oh, I know about Dunwoody.
Yeah, that's just north of Atlanta. My parents live back in Atlanta now. And then I went to high school outside of Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia. And I traveled around a bunch for school and just because I kind of wanted to explore the United States a bit. So I was in Southern Virginia, in Richmond, in college for a year. And then I was in Denver in school, Atlanta in school, and then I went up to New York about 13 years ago. I got to New York at the end of 1998. And this is a ring, so this is a hinged ring.
Wow.
It goes on like that.
Wow. Eddie.
And then, oh my God, this looks so you almost.
I love it.
I would say that she's a lover of fashion. She loves fashion. Whether or not she can afford fashion is besides the point. She likes history, she's savvy, and she loves jewelry, our customer. There's a sort of emotional connectivity that women have with jewelry that they don't have with anything else. So we won 2 grants and the CFDA.
We noticed that you won the Tiffany and Company Development Grant in 2011.
So 2011 was a really amazing year for us. First, we received runner-up in the Vogue Fashion Fund, which is something. It's a challenge, like a competition among American designers, and 10 designers are selected, and then you go through sort of a competition of sorts where they present different challenges to you and you build different programs into your business plan and so forth. And then we won runner-up in Vogue Fashion Fund and received a cash prize of $100,000. I received a mentorship from Maureen Chiquet, who's the global CEO of Chanel. This Tiffany grant was offered to all of the jewelers who were in the top 10 of the Vogue Fashion Fund. So we were up against, I think, 10 other jewelers. And a jeweler named Monique Payen, who's a friend of mine in New York. She's a fine jeweler. She won, and we received the runner-up in the Tiffany grant. And what that meant was Tiffany gave my company $100,000, a Ken, to put towards growing our business. In the same year, we were a nominee for the CFDA award. It's the Swarovski Award for Innovation in Accessory Design. This award ceremony happens once a year in New York, and it's open to all American designers. And we were up against 2 other American jewelers, and we won that award as well. We brought the full collections that are around those programs. So, you know, we've done the bracelet, but then we also have earrings that go with it.
Right.
These are in malachite.
Congratulations on those, because I mean, like you said, the CFDA and Vogue combined, that's like a home run for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm quite transparent about the fact that had we not won or received runner-up in Vogue Fashion Fund, I don't know if we would have been able to continue the business. So
Yeah.
that's how impactful those grants are. I mean, they really can make or break a young company. You know, in terms of something that you can buy or purchase or, you know, that's available from a commerce standpoint, it's because it's romantic, you know? It's maybe a gift from your friend, your mother, your fiance, your lover. It's been passed down to you.
That sounds beautiful. It sounds to me like you're saying that it's not like a piece that they buy and it's thrown in the back of their jewelry chest to be forgotten. It's almost like something they'll honor and treasure. Like,
Yes.
excuse me, like you said, it's almost that type of estate type of piece that the granddaughter may get one day.
Yes,
Then
exactly.
her granddaughter.
Yes.
So,
Sort of the opposite of what we're talking about, and what I've been so surprised to find out as we've traveled around, is there is a commercial viability to what we do. You know, there's this sort of, as they call it at Neiman Marcus, rocker chic, and as we were talking
Yeah.
about before, there's sort of that vibe in the air, and you can see it coming from other brands.
Yeah.
We certainly don't own that.
Right.
So because of that, and because the marketplace is sort of opening up to that idea that these sort of rock and roll iconography and you know, urban hardware, it doesn't have to be for, you know, a punk rocker. It can be for a very chic woman who has incredible taste, and it can be for a young girl in high school who's like an aspirational fashion consumer,
Right.
who, you know, buys into, you know, saves her money and buys a $200 bracelet from us, and really, you know, is starting to get into the vibe and combine it in, you know, in conjunction with her own sort of taste.
I like how you describe that aspirational fashion consumer, because stylista and fashionista is sold over you.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah. We just did something for this magazine called Teen Vogue.
Okay.
And I love Teen Vogue so much. And it's so, the editor-in-chief, she was interviewing me, we were talking, we did this thing called Teen Vogue Fashion University, and they fly in all of the fashion students from all the different colleges in the US, and they you know, interview designers with the editor-in-chief and everything. And she was asking me what I thought about the magazine, and I said it's amazing because it's really aspirational. You know, there's a way that you can combine high and low. You can buy sort of these mass brands that are really easy and accessible and, you know, aren't going to break your bank, and then combine them with little pockets of stuff from the big brands, and, you know, she still feels like she's, you know, owning that look. She's owning that spirit of that sort of fashion moment. And I think Teen Vogue really does that well. It's aspirational. It feels like, you know, maybe you can't afford the whole outfit, but there's something in there that you can afford.
out,
Yeah,
right.
that's the way that people shop today. They don't buy runway looks. They buy pieces from many different places that sort of make up that attitude, right? And the craftsmanship that we put into all of the pieces, and I could bore you guys with this forever, so I won't. But there's so many hours that go into the designing and the engineering of our pieces, and then all of our pieces are made in the USA, which is very, you know, there's sort of a heartbeat in Detroit that can correspond with that sort of thinking. But, you know, we make the jewelry and produce the jewelry in the same environments that fine jewelry are produced. And when it comes to our quality and our craftsmanship, the weight of the jewelry, how substantial each one of the pieces are, the cage work, the enameling, the way that the stones are set, the hinge work in the pieces, the plating that goes, the process of plating that goes into the pieces. Those are all things that we're thinking of and we're really thoughtful of, because I love the heritage of New York. I love the heritage of the United States, and I only hope one day that we would be considered to be a heritage brand. It's a huge goal of mine. Obviously a long-term goal, but something that I think about and keep in my mind.
I mean, looking at the pieces, the quality and the craftsmanship is there.
Thank you so
And-
much. That means a lot to me.
I see you being the next David Yurman.
Oh my
perhaps.
gosh, thanks.
And then you have my favorite birthstone, so
Yes.
I was sold. I was sold after that.
Yes, yeah. In terms of our business, specifically our company, I think we're a destination company for bracelets. And when someone's sort of on the fence about what to buy from our brand, I always say bracelets because it's something with our brand, it's not as serious. I feel like high jewelry gets very serious. You have to really be considerate. And there's pieces in our collection that are $200, that are under $200, you know? So it's accessible. There's an accessibility there. And you can, because of the way that it's constructed and the minimalism of the shapes in the collection, you can wear it with your fine jewelry. You can wear it with your timepiece. If you have a really cool watch from Rolex or Michael Kors, you can wear our jewelry with those timepieces. So I think that there's an accessibility there, and it's a fun way to start collecting our jewelry because all the shapes go together, all the stones go together, all the different silhouettes and volumes go together. So it's easy. It's not so serious. You can just jump in. You don't have to really think about you don't have to get so serious about the purchase.
Now, what advice would you give an up-and-coming jewelry designer wanting to break in the industry?
That's a really great question, and a question I'm so excited about answering. I think that we live in a day where the world is changing. It's changing so rapidly. I think that kids today have access to so much information. It's at their fingertips. It's on the internet, it's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, it's on the news. They're like inundated with information. And I think sometimes what comes across in that rapid communication is that there's an easy way to get to where you're going. And I don't believe that. I wasn't raised that way. I know for a fact that it isn't that's not the way things roll because of the building my own business and everything. And I really think you have to work hard. You have to work hard. You can't just identify what you want to do in life and sort of jump into the pool and expect things to come to you. You have to learn how to get there. And my biggest advice to people who want to break into anything new is listen. Don't be overly eager in the beginning. Really listen. Find mentors and people that you respect and really listen to what they have to say. They're not telling you what to do and what not to do because they're trying to school you or be something higher than what you are. They're sometimes if you just listen to what people say, they're just trying to give you advice because they've been through it and they've experienced things in their life which has led them to where they are. And so, for jewelers, if you want to be a jeweler, apprentice for a jewelry company. Find the jeweler that you really want to work for and offer to work for them for free for a little while. Or create an internship and a mentorship with that jeweler. Figure out how they built their business and the struggles that they went through. And you would be surprised, people will tell you. If you gain their trust, they'll really tell you. You can sort of alleviate those mistakes from your own struggle. And stay humble, stay a good person. Don't let anything get to your head, and you'll get there. Just stay on the path. Stay on the path. Don't get discouraged. You're gonna have a million people tell you what you're doing is wrong. People aren't gonna understand it. People told us we were too aggressive forever, and now we're, in 15 Neiman Marcus stores. So it's, you figure out a way to market towards different clients and achieve the many different things that people are expecting of you. But you do that through mentorships. You do that through keeping your ears open, staying humble, keeping your mouth shut, and working really, really hard. Yeah.
Right. As an accessory designer, what would Eddie Barlow not leave without? I think I know, but you can tell.
Oh, that's a really good question. For me, it's for my accessories, my hat. I always have my hat on. And I've just it's one of those things, like I started wearing hats in high school. My grandfathers on both sides of my family both wore hats. And I've just always worn them since high school. It sort of became
The signature.
a signature. It's sort of like a security blanket in a way. I never leave the house without my hat.
Just like you don't know.
Thank you.
You've traveled the world, so what do you think like Detroit needs to do to become competitive on a global scale, just based on your observation, of being here, researching the market and things of that nature?
I think Detroit is such a unique place. There's so many different reasons why, but in terms of American history, Motown came out of Detroit. I'm a huge music buff, so I love music. My parents loved music. I grew up listening to Motown. I think that outside of Motown, music generally, coming out of Detroit has always been so significant in terms of American music and the heritage of American music. So to answer the question, and maybe I'm going about it in a sort of too well-rounded way, but I think that there's an aspect of heritage that's really unique to Detroit that the city of Detroit could hone in on. It could really become a part of and a catalyst for the future. People love Detroit. They love the romanticism about Detroit. They love the story of Detroit. They understand the plight of Detroit and what's happened, in recent years in Detroit. And just like I was saying that, within New York and our sort of isolated existence in New York, we have that some sort of camaraderie for one another. I think that the United States has that sort of camaraderie for Detroit, and there's so many things there's production that could start again here. There's companies that could sort of reestablish the way that they're thinking about their support to the American community. And I think that could happen again. And if it's going to happen anywhere, it should happen in Detroit.
Right. Have you met Joe Ferris?
No.
He was a Project Runway finalist, and he is here from Detroit. He actually has a line here that's doing pretty well.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I was our conversation earlier offline. I was thinking about maybe his fashion,
Yes.
because it is kind of a rocker edge he has with his collection. So.
That's so cool. And does he produce his collection in Detroit?
Yes,
Fantastic.
He does. Yeah, check him out, Joe Ferris.
Yeah.
Give you a plug, Joe. Who inspires you, and what rituals do you go through to get in that creative zone?
That's a very cool question. I love the word ritual.
Yeah.
We are very ritualistic. We follow sort of patterns as you have to. Fashion is vicious in the sense that you're up against the calendar, and the calendar never stops. And we design, develop, and produce 6 collections a year. So we do fall, winter, and spring, summer for women's, but then we also do pre-fall and a holiday collection, which delivers at the same time as Resort. And we have a men's collection as well that delivers twice a year. I always start with a very general idea. The collection that's currently in Neiman Marcus, as I said, is inspired by Cleopatra. That collection came up because I was reading a book that had been given to me by a friend. I always like to say that our collection embodies the spirit of powerful, empowered women. I think that that's something that I can only hope that the collection sort of holds the spirit of. I love women so much. That collection, when I was reading the book about Cleopatra, what stuck with me was not that she was this glamorous woman that everyone sort of always portrays her as, but she was a political leader. She was a world leader at a time when women were not really considered in that way. So what really got me about her was that she was, all of these things. She was apparently very beautiful and men fell at her feet. More importantly, she was a very clever political figure. So we really dug into that research process. And when I start a collection, we go to the Picture Library in New York, which is where Fashion Week used to take place in Bryant Park. And you could just go to the folder called Cleopatra, and there's images from magazines throughout time, different studio shots of Liz Taylor and Claudette Colbert and all of these women that have played Cleopatra through time. You build into it and you learn, it is a labor of love, as you said. There's times when it's more of a labor than it is a labor of love, but you learn from your mistakes, you kind of keep going and moving along. Every season there's something that, we learn. At the end of the day, we're just trying to make things that are beautiful and have impact and that people have an emotional connectivity to. We like to make sure that everyone that's involved in that labor-intensive process, like you said, gets credit where it's deserved.
Right. What projects are you working on, and where can your other collections be seen? I think we already kind of touched on that.
We're at Neiman Marcus in Troy, and then we're in many different markets of Neiman Marcus. We're in about 15 doors. In New York, Bergdorf Goodman. In Seattle, we're in Nordstrom. We're on Saks.com, we're on Neiman's.com. And then we sell to a multitude of different stores around the world. We're at Harrods in London, Colette in Paris, we're at Corso Como in Milan. And then we have our own website, eddyborgo.com, that you can buy the jewelry on. And we're starting to branch out into new categories. So we've launched our jewelry boxes, which we have here today at Neiman's. And they're doing really well for us. It's a really cool kind of object that also is as functional as it is sort of its own object that you can keep on your dresser. Those have been doing really well for us, and I see in the future us sort of establishing ourselves as more than a jewelry brand and accessories company. I would really love to move into belts, handbags, small leather goods, but right now we're concentrating on the jewelry.
Just based off the jewelry,
Yeah.
the handbags are going to be amazing.
Thank you. It'll be exciting to see. I mean, it's always exciting to see. You never know, right, what'll happen, but we'll try.
All right. Well, Eddie, is there any other way they can contact you if they want any pieces from Eddie Borgo?
My team is always accessible, so we ask that the customers who are looking to reach out to us directly, who maybe want a custom engraving or a special length in a bracelet or something that they've seen in the past that they can't find any longer, that they reach out to the team via email, and you can do that by emailing info@eddyborgo.com, and someone will get back to you in the same day.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you today.
It's been my
We've
pleasure.
learned so much about the jewelry industry that we may not have known, and it's just always a pleasure to
Thank
meet someone
you.
as talented as you.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you for
my
your time.
pleasure. Thank you.
That was a wonderful interview. Thank you, Eddie. He gave all you viewers who are interested in the industry some really good information. So we really appreciate that. And stay tuned for our next segment of Runway Style Media's Interview Spotlight. And if you want to contact us, you can go to our website, runwaystylemedia.com. Or if you want more information on how to be featured on Runway Style Media, you can contact us at info@runwaystylemedia.com. So until again, we'll see you later, and thank you for watching.